Hey guys, it's Brigitte with San Diego Seed Company, and today I want to talk about the 3 crops you need to grow this spring and this summer. They're weird, they're interesting, they're small, they're big, they're all of the things, and I love them for a lot of reasons, and I'm going to share that with you. So before I get into it, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button so you can be notified anytime we put out a video. All right, so let's hop to it. So I have like, I don't know, 300, almost 400 products in our catalog. It's a lot, and I grow everything under the sun, hundreds and hundreds of varieties every single season. And so there's some things that I really love that I want to share with you, some crops that every year I think you should grow them. Now, I know some of you guys are growing in a very small space, and obviously tomatoes are, as I've said many times, the gateway drug to gardening, and everyone should grow tomato. However, these guys, they get really big. I mean, this plant can get 10 feet tall eventually, and so you gotta have the space to grow it. Well, have no fear. This is what I want you to grow this year. This is the tiniest tomato ever. So this tiny little tomato plant doesn't get much bigger than about this big. It's really incredible, and you actually could grow it almost on your like kitchen window or anything like that. All you need is a pot about this big, and you can grow this tomato plant. It's really amazing. Now, obviously, with the tomato plant that small, you're not gonna get hundreds of pounds of tomatoes, but you will get tons of tiny little delicious tomatoes that you can walk by, pull off, snack, throw in a salad, do anything like that. It's a really neat variety. And for those of you who are growing in pots or small containers, patios, or even if you're growing inside, this is a really neat tomato that I really hope that you give a try this year. Tell me what you think. We love it, and it's also adorable. It's almost like a little ornamental plant too. It's really neat. Now, if you buy the pack and you grow too many plants, guess what? They're the perfect gift because they're so small, anybody can grow them. You could give them to your mailman. It's not like your mailman can be like, I don't have the room. Of course he has the room because they're so small. So these little tiny tomatoes, they're little dwarf tomatoes that can grow great in containers. They're also determinate, meaning they're gonna give you a bunch of tomatoes all at the same time. And you can actually grow them in hanging baskets too on a patio. The tomatoes can hang over. They're really a neat version of tomatoes that anybody can grow that is beautiful and ornamental, almost like a flowering plant that you grow just because it's pretty, but it also gives you tomatoes. I mean, what's better than that? Okay, so crop number 2 that you gotta grow this year is the Peruvian ground cherry. Now, this plant takes up a lot more room than the tiny Tim tomato that we talked about earlier, but it is so worth it because it grows like a weed. You practically don't have to do anything, and you get these amazing, delicious fruits. Look at that, boom. And they are a combination of sweet, tart, tangy. I mean, they're just, gosh, I really wish, wow, instant mouth explosion here. I wish you could taste that. They're so good, and the reason why they call them ground cherries is because they fall off on the ground, and when I lift this plant up, there's tons and tons and tons and tons of them. Really good dehydrated. You can put them in trail mixes. We make a jam or a jelly out of them that's divine. And we also just come out here and just eat them. This is my little snack when I'm playing in the garden. And they are just so easy to grow. In fact, my videographer has them growing in his yard, and they're in the back part of his yard, and he just lets them do whatever because they're practically a weed. Nothing eats them. They are, really soft to the touch, so they're nice if you have kids. It's not like, blackberries or other fruit that are thorny. They're really easy to be around. Every year we go through and we chop this patch down to the nub, and it just comes back like crazy. Also, because it fruits so prolifically, you'll see it popping up in other parts of the yard. You can dig those up and share with friends. You can expand. Sorry, they're just so good. I know I'm supposed to be doing the video, but I really just want to eat these. Oh, that was an epic one. Okay, so if you're gonna grow these in 2022, order the seeds now. These are a plant that really likes warm weather, so basically treat them like a tomato. The seeds are very small, and you can plant them just like you do a tomato seed. Get them up to a size where you can plant them outside. Put them in an area of the garden where they really can take over. This is not a plant that you want to put in prime real estate in the middle of your garden because it will expand and really overgrow its boundaries. This is a good plant for that corner over there that doesn't really grow anything. They do like full sun, so keep that in mind. Moderate irrigation, and really that's the only thing they need. They will grow and grow and grow and grow, and then before you know it, you're gonna be harvesting tons and tons of fruit. The fruit is very similar to a tomatillo, right? It looks like this. It's actually the wild relative of a tomato. And when they're ready, the outside will turn yellow, like this one. They'll easily come off the plant, and then you get to unwrap the little treat. Okay, so crop number 3 that you have to grow this year is calendula. Now, some of you might be thinking, oh, it's just a flower. No, 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 no. Calendula is so much more than just a beneficial flower for your garden. It is a medicinal plant. And every single year we use these blooms to make a salve that we use for our farm hands. And you know, my hands get totally cracked and just really look terrible after a summer of growing on the farm. And by using these blooms, we actually make, it's basically a hand lotion that's really good for your hands, for your lips. It's just an amazing has amazing medicinal properties. Additionally, it's so easy to grow. So I have this whole row of calendula in all the different colors. The blooms are super beautiful and they really just take off. It can be a good cut flower. And it's really easy to save the seeds from. So you can see right here, these were blooms. So we had, first step was they started to open and then they became fully open. They became spent. And then here we have the seeds. This is where the seeds come from. So these are calendula seeds. So it's really easy to grow it, collect the seeds, save it for next year, spread it throughout the garden, or share with friends and family. It makes a really good holiday gift is your own packs of calendula seeds. Calendula is very easy to start from seed. You simply take the seeds out of the pack or off the plant. You can direct sow them if you have irrigation, or you can start them in starter pots in a greenhouse. These were actually direct sown this fall. So these have grown all winter long. They've grown a nice, big, robust root system. And now it's early spring and they're gonna bloom all the way through probably mid to late summer. But it's not too late if you wanna start them. Simply take your seeds, either direct sow them or start them in starter pots. Plant them outside after any frost-free days are gone. If it's extra chilly in your area, you can cover them with row cover. As soon as the soil warms up and the temperatures warm up, you'll see massive amounts of blooms that butterflies, birds, and bees all love. Okay, so those are 3 crops that I really want you to grow this year because they're unique, they're interesting, and honestly, I think they're kind of underappreciated plants for the garden. Now let's say you hate all of those. Okay, fine, I don't care. The point is, get out in the garden and grow. Growing in the garden, for me, is one of the most amazing experiences. It makes me feel close to the earth and feel just happy and appreciative that I'm alive. So if you are not in the garden enjoying the time that you have on this earth, I hope you do.